My name's Brandon Anglin. Doing this for a diesel class. It's supposed to be anything automotive. So I decided to do my car. It's a 2008 350Z. It's right now currently wide body, bagged, and it's on AGs, Avant-Garde. If you don't know what those are, I'd recommend looking those up. They're pretty sick. As far as like a full part list, I could list everything off. I have Avant-Garde wheels. They're style F210s, which pretty much means it's a reverse lip. If you don't know what that is, also probably look that up. But essentially it just means I have a flat lip. The front specs are 18 by 10 plus 0. The rear specs are 18 by 12 plus 0. Currently right now I'm rocking spacers. Highly don't recommend that, but I gotta get that perfect like fitment. And right now my tire size in the front's 245 40 18. Rear is 265 35 18. Next part's the wide body kit. It's made by Crown Carbon Crafting. They make pretty good stuff. It wasn't too expensive. The reason why I went with them over like a Rocket Bunny kit was I just like the style a little bit better. I didn't see a lot of people actually have it. But of course, since I did it, I've seen a lot of people actually have it now since I'm starting to notice it. I also went with Downstar Hardware, which is pretty much just like a hardware kit for it. It's pretty cool. It's actually like a little washer, so I don't have to rivet it, so I can fully take them off anytime, put them back on without having to drilling out any rivets or anything like that, which is cool. As far as like suspension setup goes, I'm on bags, which pretty much means that instead of it being like a traditional coil, it's actually airlift, so it can go all the way down to higher than stock, which is pretty cool. So airlift performance makes the bags, and then I also have the 3P management, which is cool because I can control it through my phone, which is pretty sick. And then I have Voodoo 13 camber arms, which allows me to get more angle in the rear. Then I also have eccentric toe bolts, so I can make the toes pretty much perfect, which is pretty nice. Exhaust setup. I have agency power single exit, which is, I love it, no issues with it. It's actually titanium muffler in the rear. And then I have Burke non-resonated test pipes, which do give me a rasp. I wish I went with a Motordyne, but I was broke. Didn't want to spend $600 on it, so I only spent about $250, I'd say. And then as far as like the inside goes, I have Crown Royale shift boot, which is super ghetto. Don't do it. Then I have an NRG weighted shift knob, which is nice. I have an NRG quick release steering wheel. And then yet again going back to the outside, I have an eBay lip because they're cheap and I go through lips probably every 3 weeks, which really sucks. My car's wrapped. It's by 3M. The company that wrapped it's West Coast Vinyls, which they hooked me up for a sponsored price, which is pretty cool. I just have to run their banner at the shows and stuff like that. I have InGen intakes, and then that pretty much wraps up everything but the speakers. So as far as speakers go, I have a Pioneer head unit. It's a Bluetooth, which is nice, so I don't have any cables running around in my car. Then I also have a Rockford Fosgate speaker amp. I can't tell you exactly how much watts it's pushing out. And then I also have Kicker audio speakers all throughout the whole car itself. I have a custom trunk setup, which is pretty nice, so my sub's actually inlaid into the trunk. And then tight. And then I also have a JL 12-inch sub. So essentially it just lays flat in my trunk, which is nice. So I have a bunch of extra room still and don't have to run a trunk box or a sub box, which actually takes up a bunch of space because I have to fit the airlift kit in there. And then I have a Hyphonics sub amp, which I think is about 1500 watts, which isn't a lot, but it definitely helps out get the sound there. And also you can't really run a sub without an amp. yeah, that's pretty much my part list. Pretty sure I forgot a few things, but I mean, it's not too major. So cool, cool. So as far as like what companies I'm sponsored by, currently it's West Coast Vinyls. Did the car wrap. I'm sponsored by Airlift, which actually really hooked me up with the price, which I'm super stoked on. Super cool dudes over there. Thank you. Also sponsored by Snug Apparel, which is pretty cool. Kind of get free t-shirts, free clothing whenever I want. Also sponsored by Royal Speed Shop. That's a crucial one. If you need any race car parts, hit him up. But he gave me, I mean, discounts on top of discounts. I help him get customers, kind of a mutual thing. But he hooks me up with anything I want pretty much for the car, which is cool. Then I'm also sponsored by Alright, so pretty much why I chose the 350Z. I really like the way the VQ motor sounded, and like back when I was 16, I kind of saw him driving around, and I was like, oh dude, like at some point in my life I want to get one. I ended up walking into some money, which is pretty cool. Ended up getting it. Not sponsored by mommy and daddy, FYI for you kids. So I walked into this car, checked it out over Craigslist. I was probably shopping for it for about 3 months, 4 months. Wanted to get something super low mileage. I didn't really care about the price too much because I was going to take out a loan. It's paid off now, just saying. But yeah, so I walked into the car, checked it out. Some Asian dude in LA, seemed pretty cool. He said it was lowered, a bunch of stuff was done to it. I check it out, you know, check under the car, make sure nothing was scraped up too bad, and it looked pretty good to me, so I bought the car. I've actually never had to do any major issues with it, or major repairs. The gnarliest thing I've had to do was a CV axle, which took me like 2 hours to do, which wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lift, so it was kind of hard, but a bunch of stuff I had to move out of the way. As far as like why I overall chose it, is I definitely wanted a two-seater, because I feel like a two-seater is definitely a little bit more nicer than a four-seater, or 4 or 5-seater, 4 doors. I wanted to go for the race car look, but not really be a race car because I'm not a race car and I don't drive fast. 65 is the speed limit everywhere. Yeah, they're super torquey. I love the torque out of these cars. Eventually I want to go for boost or maybe just a full motor swap and just do like an LS or some Chevy motor and just piss people off. I'm definitely here to hurt feelings, not make friends. So, yeah, car scene. As far as like why I got into the car scene was I definitely like looking at other people's cars, and it kind of just makes me like super hyped up for my build and just want me to progress and just push forward. So as far as like other people's builds, it definitely just makes me super stoked to go to like all these events, be in like a booth, you know, have people check out your car. I mean, see your car all over Instagram, blowing up. It's definitely pretty nice. And a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, I mostly do it for a bunch of photos. It's like a way of documenting my life, I guess. Because then I can remember, like, oh, I remember when I did that. I mean, I'd imagine when I'm older, I could be like, oh, look back at my Z and just be like, dude, that was my first car that I ever built. And maybe to some people I'm not doing it right because it's too damn low, but screw them. It's my car, it's not theirs. They don't pay my bills, which is pretty tight. So yeah, do it for myself, man. Don't do it for anyone else.